for joining us here on Indivisible. I'm your host, John Stubbins. And as always, we are thrilled to have you with us tonight, America. This is the show we put God, family, and country first. We will always tell you the truth because that's what matters. Real quick, I just want to give a quick shout out to our, and by the way, I gotta just say, Saban Howard did an amazing job, master sculptor. If you have not been to the National Mall recently, I highly suggest that you come check out this beautiful, beautiful piece of sculpture that is now a permanent resident at the National Mall. This is called A Soldier's Journey. It is fantastic. Everything was bronzed and built over in the UK and shipped over in pieces. This will give you an idea of the breadth and scope of this amazing piece. But it is up at the National Mall permanently to stay, and we are very, very excited about that. Go to JohnStubbins.com, and you can go there now. You can help contribute and donate for American Anarchy, which is our amazing project. And also, you can try our amazing Pledge of Allegiance coffees under the umbrella. A pound of coffee, which is our breakfast blend. Indivisible, which is our medium roast. And our dark roast, which is under the brand of American Anarchy. They are phenomenal, outstanding Javas. They beat anything Starbucks has and beat anything that you're going to be able to get at your grocery store. And we'll deliver it right to your front door. And we are 100% veteran-owned and veteran-ran. You can see there's John Ferguson on the left. He is my partner in our venture. And General Flynn is our affiliate partner. You can see him holding a bag of our American Anarchy dark roast. So we are thrilled to bring that to you. And again, 100% veteran owned. You can't beat that, folks. We're going to take a quick commercial break. We're going to be back with an amazing guest, Dr. Jerome Corsi. You're going to love him. Be right back.
Here's to the overlooked, the overworked, the underappreciated. Here's to the fighters to preserve our freedom, our liberty, our rights, our faith. Here's to the workers, the farmers, the first responders, and those who serve so bravely in our military. Here's to Americans who proudly hold tight to our values: God, privacy, freedom of speech, life and liberty. Here's to the patriots who love this country and everything it stands for, who should never be canceled for believing in America and the blessings of liberty. Finally, there's a bank for you, Old Glory Bank, named after the flag that represents the fabric of this great country and the people of Old Glory Nation, the engine of America. Now you have a bank that values your values. Now you have a bank that stands with you, no matter where you stand. Old Glory Bank. We stand with you.
Member FDIC. Equal housing lender.
We just love Old Glory Bank. Hope you got to catch, well, you're going to catch it soon. We did an amazing show with Mike Ring, CEO and president and co-founder of Old Glory Bank, and we're going to have that for you here. I think in about 2 weeks, that show is going to be premiering. I want to bring on the show now Dr. Jerome Corsi. He is a best-selling author. He is a Harvard PhD, and he is a political commentator. We have a lot to talk about and a lot of different things that him and I are working on simpatico together. How you doing, Dr. Corsi?
Good, John. It's good to be with you. Thank you very much.
Well, we're thrilled to have you. And I got to tell you, we're going to be scrolling your information at the bottom of the screen for the show so people can get in contact with you. Go to your websites, get involved with your missions. And I say missions, meaning multiple missions. And also connect with you on social media. But, before we do that, I want to talk, first off, about your amazing book, The Anti-Globalist Manifesto, Ending the War on Humanity. and the foreword written by Stephen K. Bannon. Why? Well, first off, we know why you wrote the book, obviously because of what's going on in our world. But what made you decide to get into that at the moment over other possible books that you could have written where there's so much going on? Why was this your first choice?
Well, it stemmed from a developing relationship I have with Archbishop Vigano in Italy. And he, of course, has been excommunicated by Pope Francis, Jorge Bergoglio. Our Pope is, I was raised Roman Catholic. Our Pope is now LGBT and a complete Marxist. And the
how do you deal with that, by the way?
Well, it's not very favorably. I mean, this is a church infiltrated by Satan, as far as I'm concerned. And we've been warned about this since the days of Pope Leo XIII, which was at the turn of the century, 1800s to 1900s. And the infiltration of Satan into the Catholic Church began, I think, with Vatican II. And it was part of this whole globalist movement.
Sure.
That even, I guess I first really became aware of it when hearing George H.W. Bush talking about a new world order. And I wondered why we needed a new world order. I was perfectly happy with the world order we currently had, which was the United States of America. That was good enough for me. I didn't know why we needed anything better.
And by the way, this Pope, this is the kind of Pope, he would have probably been friends with Hitler or Stalin.
Anyone evil, anyone who wants, they're depopulationists. They hate people. They hate life. And you can see this. I mean, we had a great demonstration of it this week in President Trump's State of the Union address, just watching the Democrats. I mean, I've never seen such a demonic group in my life. They're sitting there, just horrible. I mean,
how do you not cheer for a 13-year-old boy that's had multiple brain surgeries? All he wants to do is good.
Yeah, he wants to be a police officer. And so the head of the Secret Service makes him an honorary Secret Service agent, and he's holding it up, and it's heartbreaking to see this. The child
and not only that, Dr. Corsi, but I tell you what, the instant other killer, and you see it over and over again, it's a pattern. Anytime that they bring anybody to the forefront that is a victim of an illegal immigrant killing a member of their family, they won't stand. There's no honor. There's no compassion. There's no love. It's pure, unadulterated evil.
Hate. These people are filled with hatred. You can see the hate in them, and they exude hate. I mean, how can you, 97-year-old woman and her son is released from Russia because Donald Trump's intervention, and Biden did nothing. You see a woman who had been brain damaged by a male playing, a transgender, whatever, playing volleyball, and he spiked the volleyball viciously down on her head and caused brain damage. I mean, how does your heart not go? A mother who lost a daughter and, to illegal aliens killing her and brutally killing her. I mean, how can Democrats just sit there and hate that these things are brought forward, that what they want, the illegal immigrants, they want the transgenderism, they want everything evil. And as far as I can see, all the ideas the Democrats today, the Democrat communists or Democratic demonic, it's like a Satanist cult. They hate life. They want abortion to the moment of birth, the euthanasia, vaccines that don't prevent you from getting a disease but might kill you. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. Wars that we don't have to be fighting in Ukraine and the Middle East, which Donald Trump was not fighting in his first term, and I believe will bring to an end now. But this display of these people sitting there was chilling. I mean, it was it was evil. I couldn't believe it watching it.
It really was. I tell you, it made me. I tell you, the best way to describe it for me would be embarrassed. I was embarrassed. That'd have been my number one thought, and then after that, just saddened. I mean, embarrassed because this is not the country that we grew up with.
No, it's not.
This is not the United States of America.
No.
And they've done everything in their power to bring us down. It's interesting because I've done so many deep dives with my friend Trevor Loudon into everything from Acorn to Thousand Currents to the Weather Underground, the Black Lives Matter, Antifa. We've done so many deep dives on these groups, and they just keep reinventing themselves and renaming themselves is all they do. But you see them in the streets. Now they're in these Palestine marches, okay, against the Jews. And we'll get into that in a minute with the Middle East. But my question to you is, do you think that war on our southern border with the cartels is imminent? I kind of do.
Well,
because they're killing people.
First of all, I've known Trevor for years, and his work on Marxism and Maoism is second to none. He's brilliant on this, and
love Trevor.
And he has a phenomenal memory, and I encourage everybody to go to his website and buy his books, because you will not find a better expose on the anti-American nature of these movements. And now we're finding out with USAID and the work that Elon Musk is doing and this Doge group, how we're getting literally billions of dollars of U.S. tax dollars that are going to NGOs funneled to anti-American terrorist groups. The grants that Donald Trump read out create transgender mice in some
some country nobody's even heard of.
These people have lost their minds, and I literally mean lost their minds. They've lost their souls.
And God bless my friend Tom Homan for all of his hard work. But there's so much to do. The border wall. I've got my friend Steve Robinson who's sitting there waiting to help build the border wall and more of it. We've got we're going to have to deal with drones. There's that. There's this. There's the cartels. There's the corrupt Mexican government on top of this. It's a mess. It's an absolute mess. But
that's your question. I think that Donald Trump would be willing to use the military to go after the drug cartels if that's the last resort.
If we have to.
And I don't think he. And when I've met Tom Homan, I've seen Tom Homan speak in public, and he is resolute on.
Oh yeah.
He just says he loves his job, and he is so determined. Now, I think Tom is going to need private help. I think he's going to need contractors and the like to do the job.
Exactly, and that's why we're here, Dr. Corsi.
Well, I want to help in that. I want to help in that effort too, because
we can help him.
My group is connected to some of the best security and other firms that can help get this job done.
Same here, brother. That's why that's probably why Keith decided to bring the two of us together.
I think it's why Keith put the two of us together. Keith Mark, who does Hunter Nation, and he's another great American. And Donald Trump Jr. is part of that group, and they are another group who played a big role in the election victory in 2024.
And we talk about people, all my audience, they're very familiar with Hunter Nation because they're not only one of our sponsors, but we talk about them on the show. Keith comes on, Ted comes on. We talk about Hunter Nation. In fact, I go on Ted's show as well with him and Keith. But real quick question about the Middle East.
Yes.
It's, this thing is, I think I read yesterday that now there's another possible threat. I don't know if you saw that article. There's a new possible threat over the Middle East. I didn't get into what that was yet, but we've got enough staring at us over there. And thank God for my friend Mike Huckabee for his appointment over to Israel. But where do you see in the next 6 months things heading with Israel?
Well, I think, first of all, yesterday or through the last couple of days, we've been meeting with Hamas, which is unprecedented because we never meet with terrorist groups. But I believe one of the president's senior envoys in the Middle East has been meeting with them. And what's come out of those conversations, the ceasefire with Hamas in Gaza ended on Saturday, and Hamas is not turning over the hostages.
No.
I think there's something like some 52 that are unaccounted for, and maybe some 30 of them or so are dead, but we want them all back. And Donald Trump has made it abundantly clear in words of one syllable that either we get those hostages back as promised and Hamas comes to terms, or we're going to go in and kill everybody who's associated with Hamas and destroy the organization. And I think that needs to be done. I think, quite frankly, returning. First of all, Donald Trump's got some almost visionary breakthrough ideas, and his idea that we're going to relocate people out of Gaza, so the Palestinians are going to be relocated, and that we're going to redevelop Gaza so it is becoming not a terrorist camp with tunnels underneath it for military exercises to attack Israel, but it is going to become a beautiful port like the Riviera of the Middle East, which it can be. Okay, now, critically, I think the first step is going to be to destroy. I think what's going to happen in the immediate is that we just sent something like $65 billion worth of ordnance and other equipment to Netanyahu. Netanyahu's being allowed to stay in Lebanon finally. Under Obama, Netanyahu going to Lebanon to get Hezbollah, and within 24 hours, Obama's threatening to cut off his military supply if he doesn't pull out. Well, finally, we've got a president who's saying these terrorist groups have got to be eliminated and killed and done away.
Yeah. I want to make a quick point about that, Dr. Corsi, because that was exactly what I was just thinking in my mind.
Yes.
So you get rid of Hamas, you've still got Hezbollah sitting there.
That's right.
Okay. Yeah, you've got these other rogue players, whether it's the Yemenis or the Houthis or all these different groups. Plus, you've got Iran. Iran sitting there. We're going to have to deal with that probably sooner rather than later.
Well, Iran is funding these other groups.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. And under Obama and under Biden, we were sending money to John Kerry sent airplanes full of cash to Iran.
And by the way, that money, that's one of our investigations.
Yes.
That money, a lot of it was taken through the green energy incentives. It was stolen from the American taxpayers.
Well,
and I am never going to let that go.
There's a lot of money stolen from the American taxpayers, as we're finding out through USAID and through these other initiatives, which funnel it into hard left, radical, anti-American campaigns, NGOs, to funding Democratic campaigns. We're going to find out a lot about the corruption of all this money that's slushing around.
Well, if you ever want to meet some of the people that were behind the science of the weatherization program, which was one of the spinoffs of the green energy incentives, I have a witness for you that's been under wraps for quite a while, that's been wanting to tell a story.
Okay, I'd be happy to do that.
We're going to
come back. We come back. I want to continue this because I want to say a few more things about the Middle East.
Oh, absolutely. We're going to take a quick commercial break. We'll be right back.
Hunter Nation is the ultimate we the people in the conservation community, holding our elected employees accountable to the hunting, fishing, trapping, freedom lifestyle that has brought wildlife back to the healthiest and most thriving condition in our lifetime. HunterNation.org is the epicenter for freedom and wildlife conservation in America. I am Hunter Nation.
We're back with Dr. Jerome Corsi. Go ahead, Doctor. Pick that right back up.
I think the next step is to the Palestinians cannot stay. First of all, there is no Palestinian nation. This whole myth of the Palestinian nation, Palestine, was a term that goes back to ancient Rome for the people who lived in the Holy Land, whether they were Jews or Christians or whoever they were. And the claim of Palestinians maybe dates to the 1830s, but again, there is no Palestinian state. There never was one. The Palestinians are mostly from Jordan or from Egypt. Yasser Arafat was an Egyptian. He was born in Egypt. He was Muslim Brotherhood, which is Egyptian. He wasn't Palestinian. And this whole idea of creating a Palestinian state is really a code word for Jew hatred and wanting to destroy the Jewish state of Israel. That's all it's ever meant. And the two-state solution, we tried it forever. It doesn't work because the Jew haters who want to destroy the state of Israel, want to kill Jews, look at a two-state solution as a temporary stage in the intermediate to eliminating Israel. Then there's two states and there's one state, and the one state is Palestine. Now, if we move the Palestinians out, and by the way, Libya has made a legitimate offer to take the Palestinians. It's the first country that has done so. Egypt and Jordan have rejected taking Palestinians, and they're insisting that they want to redevelop Gaza, and they want to leave the Palestinians in place. Well, there's no sanitation, there's no water, there's no electricity. It's rubble. There's unexploded ordnance here in the Gaza, and it's ridiculous to let these people continue to be victims for a Marxist, radical Islamic idea that the United States of America is evil and Israel is an occupier of the Holy Land, and it legitimately belongs to the Palestinians who are suffering. The billions of dollars that have gone to the Palestinian Authority or the PLO, the Palestinian Liberation Organization, Yasser Arafat, were stolen by the elite in those organizations, while the people were kept poor to be poster children for Israel's supposed oppression. Now, if we go this way, the only way the Middle East is going to be permanent, and Donald Trump was right, we shouldn't repeat a solution that's already failed. And this solution has failed over and over again, and the Muslim states are just going to say they don't want the Palestinians. Palestinians have tried to cause insurrections in every country they've been in.
Yeah.
And then additionally, it'll just be the return of Hamas to Gaza, and we'll be all over again, starting another war. The solution to the Middle East, Libya, I think, has got the right idea. And I think we've got to involve these Muslim states along Africa, along the Mediterranean, got to involve the UAE, we've got to involve Saudi Arabia. It's not necessarily Egypt and Jordan, which are so close to Israel and have been so tied in with this Palestinian problem, since the origin of Israel in 1948. The point is, the only solution to the Middle East is economic. The Abraham Accords, once the nations agree that they're going to live with this Jewish state of Israel and they're going to work with Israel,
right,
the Middle East can flourish.
Yes.
The technology, with hydroponics, you could go 3 growing seasons in the deserts out in the Middle East and produce ample food to produce twice the population of the earth. We can do this. We have the technology. The technology in Israel is remarkable. Many of our U.S. fighter jets are equipped with Israeli technology on the insides. So we're using a lot of advanced Israeli technology right now. And the idea of saying that we could make the Mediterranean along Libya, along Gaza, into resort quality living and invite the Palestinians to have a style of life which would be families, economic prosperity, putting food on the table for the children, living in peace. All it takes is the idea that we're just going to destroy this sickness, this madness of killing Jews and eliminating the Jewish state of Israel. As far as I can see, and my religion is quite strong, I believe biblically in the covenant God made with the Jews in the Bible with Abraham. Israel is the homeland of the Jews, and the Bible has said repeatedly that those who benefit, the diaspora would return. I think Harry Truman's decision in 1948 to allow the state of Israel to be created, biblical event. I think Donald Trump moving our embassy to Jerusalem was a biblical event.
Amen.
I think the State Department, which sent a coalition from Washington to the United Nations building in New York City the day the vote was taken to create Israel, to oppose President Truman on the decision. Our State Department has been globalist since the days of John Foster Dulles and Allen Dulles and the CIA.
It's got to stop.
Got to stop. I mean, we could make the Middle East flourish. The only solution is economic, and Donald Trump has hit upon it. And I think I see it going in stages. First, the plan of Egypt and Jordan has already been rejected by Donald Trump, and Donald Trump doesn't advance a plan that he's about to give up on.
Right.
So the idea is the Palestinians are going to have to realize they're going to be moved out of there.
Yeah.
It's going to take 10 years or more to redo.
Just the way that it is.
Gaza. It's just
the way that it is.
Facts of life.
Listen, we've got a couple minutes left, Dr. Corsi. I want to hit on a couple things, and I want to talk about algorithms here.
Yes.
But you know, you don't have to comment on this, but you know, it just continues to bother me. This Gavin Newsom. You know, how do you think about the damage that he's done to the state of California just with not taking care of the forest and the wildfires out there? This guy is out of control. I don't know how you live with a guy like this, but they do. They continue to vote for him. They divert their water supply to save a smelt about that big, you know, and then they have no water to put out fires. By the way, speaking of that, President Trump did away with the bridge tax in New York City. I'm sure that probably made you happy.
Yes, that was a good idea.
You know what's crazy is back in the late 90s, I think I was paying $4 to go across the Lincoln or Holland tunnels, and now it's ridiculous.
Oh,
Let's
it's ridiculous.
get on to the algorithms.
Yes.
We've got about 2 minutes left. Go ahead and hit on that because I know that's what you're tackling big time right now.
Yes, we're working with Ukraine. We're working with President Trump's attorney, Peter Ticktin, Ticktin.
Good man.
Brilliant. And we at God's Five Stones, our website, we found that there are codes that have been placed in the computers of the state boards of election, unknowns to the state boards of election. And these are kind of like intelligence agency cryptographic codes. They permit the creation of modified duplicate votes. So instead of there being one Jerome Corsi in the state of New Jersey, there's now 4.
Jeez.
And the others have different data. They may have a different date of birth or a different address. And the 3 of them are fictitious, but the algorithms permit them to be created, hidden, and then used in mail-in ballot schemes to be appearing to be legitimate votes because all 4 of the Jerome Corsis look like they're real people. Even though
that's a nightmare.
It's a night. Well, in the state of Florida, where Peter Ticktin has challenged an election in court, in this 14th district, which is Rocky Rockford lost to a Democrat named Castor. This is Tampa and St. Pete. And the fraud in this was obvious. I think we'll win this one. And Donald Trump can have a executive order. So in Florida, in 7 million voter rolls, records, there's approximately 1 million modified duplicates.
This is a story that we're going to stay on. I appreciate you bringing that up. We got about 30 seconds left. Go ahead on Ukraine.
Well, Ukraine, I think, has got to. Donald Trump again thrown Zelensky out, saying we're not going to fund any more war. We're going to fund peace. And the Europeans are saying, well, we'll go to war. You know, I guess the Europeans want to hide their crimes and all the things that probably is in these Jeffrey Epstein files, if we ever get them. You're going to find out the evil nature of these people running Europe. And they want to hide that. So they want to now go to war with Putin. Well, it's insanity. If the United States quits funding Ukraine and Zelensky, there is no war. If we quit funding NATO, there is no NATO. If we quit funding the United Nations, there is no United Nations. Amen. And I think we have to quit funding these evil things.
I agree.
Get rid of them.
Dr. Jerome Corsi, everybody. Again, we've been scrolling his information since the beginning of the show. Make sure that you get a copy of his book, The Anti-Globalist Manifesto, Ending the War on Humanity. God bless you, Dr. Corsi. I look forward to talking with you real soon.
God bless you, John, and everything you're doing. I love Hunter Nation. It's great.
Oh, well, Hunter Nation. we love Hunter Nation, and it's Hunter Nation is just one part of what we do, but we're very happy.
Well, I love all your sponsors. Old Glory Bank. I love the whole bunch of them. A great show.
Yeah, they're great. They're great folks, and they're American. That's what we love.
I do too. God bless.
God bless you, my friend. We're going to take a quick commercial break, and we'll be right back. Indivisible with John Stubbins is proud to support my friends Jim and Angela Holland and Set Apart Farms.
Faith-led and family-driven, we're doing things a better way for veterans and their families. For all the ways to get involved, go to setapartfarms.org.
Another great show. Dr. Corsi brought us a lot of information. We look forward to working with Dr. Corsi. We're a little bit over time, though, so we've got to go. But we'll see you next week. God bless you. God bless your families, and God bless America.